3 years ago, the Northgate extension of Seattle's Link light rail system opened, and we made the first ever video for this channel. Well, now we're back at Northgate, which has since become the busiest Link station. There's not a whole lot here, but you don't have to look beyond the name to understand where riders are coming from. For decades, express buses running north to places like Lynnwood and Everett funneled riders into downtown Seattle, and when the Northgate extension opened, most of them started to run here instead. But now, those buses are getting replaced by a shiny new light rail extension, bringing the one line 8.5 miles further north and adding 4 new stations to the system. Let's go check them out. Departing Northgate, trains accelerate quickly as they speed past the area of the former Northgate Mall. Trains top out at 55 miles an hour, nearly matching traffic speeds on I-5. The first station we come to isn't actually open yet. This is 130th Street, an infill approved by voters after the rest of the line. Though construction has been accelerated, the station isn't set to open until 2026. It is the only station on the extension that doesn't include parking, but it will offer connections to a crucial new crosstown bus route. In the meantime, we pass by cool artwork, which I hope is incorporated into the final design. Not far along, we reach the first real stop at South Shoreline 148th. Located just north of the border with Seattle, this station is exemplary of the changes Lynnwood Link is bringing to the communities it serves. This huge bus plaza is empty now, but in less than 2 weeks, a dramatic restructure to the bus service in this area will have 7 new routes connecting at this station. While these buses will carry a significant portion of riders to the station, a 500-car garage also inhabits much of the station area. Another obstacle is the Jackson Park Golf Course, which consumes a significant portion of the land both here and near 130th Street. South Shoreline has played host to a massive rezone that is creating a brand new urban center in what was formerly a quiet single-family neighborhood. No fewer than 3,000 new units are planned, in construction, or already open adjacent to the new station, with the freeway posing a major obstacle for access to the majority of structures built so far, which are located to the west of the station area. A pedestrian bridge is planned to traverse this barrier, similar to the existing structure at Northgate. 145th Street itself, the border between Seattle and Shoreline, is currently being torn up to facilitate improved amenities and 2 new roundabouts at the I-5 entrance and exit ramps. Each station on the extension uses a distinct color scheme. The colors of choice here are gray, blue, and yellow. We continue north alongside the freeway. There are great views of the road traffic, if that's your kind of thing, but out the other window you'll catch glimpses of single-family homes behind the retaining wall. 185th Street, North Shoreline is a unique station on the line, located at ground level sandwiched between the freeway and the station garage. Despite this at-grade orientation and unlike similar Link stations elsewhere, crossing the tracks at grade is strictly prohibited, with access instead provided via overhead walkways at either end of the platforms. In fact, the entire one line north from downtown has been built to rapid transit standards, which will facilitate trains every couple of minutes once the 2 line begins service up here. We'll get back to that shortly. A gardened path runs between the platforms and the garage. The garage here isn't nearly as tall as at 148th, but it makes up for this by extending partially underground. Pretty empty right now, but I'd expect that to change soon. North Shoreline is less of a bus hub than its southern sibling, but it will be fed by the crosstown bus on 185th. A bus loop atop the station acts as a terminus for a local route extending south, as well as the extended Swift Blue Line, a frequent express route along Highway 99 and the busiest bus in Snohomish County. Oddly, this route will continue to run via the former terminus at Aurora Village, a transit center whose value is waning with the opening of the new stations. Development surrounding North Shoreline is also less notable than at 148th. A new structure overlooking station platforms has popped up in a sea of single-family homes, with more soon to follow. North of 185th, the line departs King County and enters Snohomish County. Mountlake Terrace is probably my favorite new station along the line for a multitude of reasons. There's this cool spot where trains emerge through the woods from the north. There's also a whole host of new routes connecting here, which will soon include a very useful express route to Edmonds, timed with the ferries. Development here is also much further along than other stations, with the creatively named Terrace Station and a fun transit-themed Tracks having opened quite a bit earlier than the extension itself. There's nice street-level activity, including playgrounds, a pizza place, a cafe, and even this busy trampoline park, which is pretty awesome, though as with the Shoreline stations, still a notable absence of a grocery store. The buildings offer greater protection from the freeway than at other stations, making it easy to forget that it's there in the first place. Pass behind them and you'll even notice a lovely spot alongside a creek. The track's development has this tube-themed entranceway and a New York Vignelli map in the gym, so that's an immediate 11 out of 10 for me. Unlike the Shoreline stations, which will completely transform transit service in the area, Mountlake Terrace was already a transit center prior to Link. A median bus station is connected to the rest of the station by a walkway, though it's unlikely many will use this connection when a much easier one exists one stop to the north. A temporary bus loop provided near the station during construction has already been removed, with a mixed-use development planned to occupy the space. The line crosses the freeway to the north of Mountlake Terrace. A station at 220th Street was once planned and is still considered a future site for provisional infill, but no plans are in place to make that a reality in the foreseeable future. We continue to fly past single-family homes until diverging slightly from the freeway for the first time on this ride to reach Lynnwood City Center, the new terminus of the one line until the extension into Everett opens in another 15 or so years. Despite the optimistic station name, there's not much here yet. Lynnwood is using the opening of the station as an opportunity to create a new city center for an otherwise sprawling suburb primarily identified by its mall. It's an admirable goal, and I'm excited to see what comes of the new developments. What is here today is the Lynnwood Transit Center, one of the largest in the region. Bus routes running along I-5 were supposed to be cut short to terminate here with the opening of the extension, but there has been a complication. The 2 line, running to the east side, should have already been open, and trains from its new maintenance facility were supposed to be running here. A serious flaw in the quality of concrete plinths used in the construction of tracks along the I-90 floating bridge have prevented that connection from being made, and until it does, all trains on the one line need to operate out of the existing maintenance facility, which was never meant to handle so much service. The result is that a line already nearing capacity has now gotten 8 miles longer, with no ability to increase service. To ease the crowding, express buses will continue to run directly from here to downtown Seattle until the 2 line is extended north. But that won't be the end of the challenges. For some reason unbeknownst to yours truly, there is no crossover to the south of the station platforms. This makes it much harder to turn trains around here, already challenging with a train on the one line every 8 minutes, but much more so with trains on multiple lines departing every 4. I have a sneaking suspicion the 2 line might actually end up terminating at Northgate, but that remains to be seen. The station has some stunning indigenous artwork, with imagery featuring the sun and moon as well as eagles, orca whales, and salmon. The piece is titled Generational Confluence. Beyond this, the station roof structure is virtually identical to the ones at Mountlake Terrace and South Shoreline, though again featuring a unique color scheme. In the plaza below the station is yet more artwork, including these neat things and a light-up hummingbird. So, that's the latest extension on Seattle's Link light rail system. In many ways, it's a vestige of a bygone era of transit planning. Large stations surrounded by parking garages on a line following a freeway are characteristics of the lowest ridership portions of the metro systems built in the 70s and 80s. There's a serious question to be asked about whether we should be subsidizing drivers by providing all this parking, particularly when it takes up space that could otherwise be used to house thousands of people and disincentivizes them from using the bus. The freeway, offering a convenient right-of-way to extend the line along, continues to be a barrier to development. But I have a feeling this line is going to be a lot more successful than the freeway-adjacent metro lines of the 1970s. The service hours from dozens of bus routes that have been running into downtown Seattle can now be reinvested in providing more local service to communities along the line and feeding into it, which is going to be transformational. The communities of Shoreline, Mountlake Terrace, and Lynnwood, which have historically all lacked downtowns, are creating new urban centers oriented around frequent rail transit. And with opening day celebrations at all 4 new stations, the excitement around new transit service in the area was palpable. Apparently people are into this sort of thing. Nerds. We look forward to exploring no fewer than 3 light rail extensions that will be coming to Seattle in the near future. Be sure to stay tuned for more content from the House of Transit.